Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooklyn if you're new here, and this is going to be my first video with a little Emmett. We are finally getting around to filming a video after 3 weeks because let me tell you, life with a newborn is chaotic and difficult and you have zero time to yourself. So we are finally sitting down and getting something filmed. If you hear him making noises, he is due to eat soon, so I'm sure he's going to be grunting and just loving life. So anyways, if you want to see what's been going on for the past 3 weeks with me, this is going to be my postpartum update, then just keep watching and we're going to get started. So if you watched our birth vlog, then you know that I did have to have a C-section. So if you are planning on a vaginal delivery or if you've had a vaginal delivery, then my recovery is going to be just a little bit different than yours postpartum. But overall, things have been going really good. I think the biggest thing that I had postpartum coming out of surgery was swelling. My swelling was so bad, guys. I mean, I literally look like Shrek from the waist down. My legs were like 3 times the size that they were normally, and I had zero swelling my entire pregnancy. So when we were leaving the hospital and I went to put my pants on, they could hardly fit me, and it was like the first time that I noticed like how much swelling I had. So that was like the most difficult part for me for sure, was swelling, because I could hardly even bend my foot. Like I was so swollen, and it was from all of the fluids that they pumped me with for surgery. And I mean, I was in labor for 24 hours, so I had a ton of fluid put inside me and it was just all hanging out. So that swelling lasted for a little over a week. So he was born on a Saturday and we were discharged on a Tuesday, and then we came back on Thursday to lactation to have him weighed because he is breastfeeding. And I was talking to the lactation nurse about my swelling. I was just like, this is literally like I have Shrek legs. And she was like, I would go upstairs if I was you and try and get in with your doctor because that swelling is like excessive. So we went upstairs and we walked in to see a nurse practitioner in my doctor's office, and it literally took her and David to try to pull off my boots and to put them back on. Like, that's how swollen I was. It was insane. But she basically said, you know, I can give you something, a LASIK. I can give you a LASIK one-time dose and it can help you, but it will affect your milk supply since I'm breastfeeding. And I had an appointment scheduled for that following Monday for an incision check. So she said, you know, today's Thursday. Do you want to just wait it out through the weekend, see if anything happens, if you lose some of that swelling, and if not, on Monday we can go ahead and give you a LASIK. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll wait it out through the weekend because I really didn't want to affect my milk supply. So that's what we ended up doing. And by the time my appointment came on Monday, I had really started to lose a ton of that fluid. So what I was doing was drinking a ton of water. I was up, moving a lot, and I was wearing compression socks. And getting compression socks on and off of Shrek legs were like very difficult. But that's what I kind of did to help reduce some of the swelling. Just to give you an idea of the amount of swelling that I had. So as far as like a weight update, I did end up staying under my 25-pound weight gain for my entire pregnancy. I think I gained like 24 and a half pounds ish. And then I had, Emmett was almost 10 pounds. He was 9 pounds, 8 ounces when he was born, which is insane. I do not know how almost a 10-pound baby was inside me. So Emmett was close to 10 pounds, and when I came home from the hospital, I weighed almost 3 pounds more than I weighed when I went in to give birth. So, I mean, I had so much fluid on me, like it was insane. So by the time Monday had came around, I started to lose the fluid, and I was already down, I think it was like 18 pounds. Just in that 4-day period, I had lost 18 pounds of fluid. And then I would say a couple days after that, I pretty much had lost everything. So week 1 of postpartum, I had a ton of swelling, didn't lose any weight, and was just super swollen. By week 2, I was already 2 pounds under my pre-pregnancy weight. So I had lost every bit of everything I'd gained and then some. And currently at 3 weeks postpartum, I'm about 3 to 4 pounds under my pre-pregnancy weight. So I've definitely lost all the swelling, and I can see my ankles again, and it's really nice. But that's just to give you an idea of how much swelling I had. And I did not think it was ever gonna go away, but it does. I promise it does. I was like freaking out. I posted it in a mom's board, and I was like, dude, like, how long does this swelling take for my C-section mamas to get rid of? And they were all like, some of them were like, oh, it took me 3 months, or oh, it took me a month. And I'm like, whoa, I literally can't do this for that long. There's no way. So mine took about a week to go away, and like I said, I drank lots of water, I stayed active, and I wore compression socks. I almost completely forgot to do a little belly shot update for you guys. So I did lose all of my pregnancy weight like I mentioned, but my belly is definitely softer than it was before I got pregnant, and things are just a little bit different. I do still have the dark line all the way down the center of my belly, and then I do have the little patch of stretch marks that I showed you guys in my last pregnancy update. Those are definitely noticeable, but I'm totally okay with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert that belly shot for you guys now. So this is 3 weeks postpartum. I have a line from sitting, and then a little line from my pants. My belly button is still like completely stretched out, and I have a line for my pants. And then I have the dark line that I had, but everything is just really soft, and it's not really firm anymore. And then I have like my patch of stretch marks that you can see when I turn a certain way. Yeah, this is my belly. Okay, so we're back. We had to take a little break to nurse, but Emmett is wide awake, so I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a little peek of him. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because I post like little clips and pictures of him 24/7, but he is literally just the sweetest little thing, and he's just a little chunky monkey. He's so precious. So this is Emmett. I'm not sure where I left off, but I'm gonna jump into my incision. So I was terrified of my incision site, like literally scared to death to even like look at it or think about it. And I was just counting on the fact that David was a nurse and that he would take care of me. But it actually didn't end up being near as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I had like a honeycomb patch over my incision. What is it called? I can't think of what it's called, but it looked like a little honeycomb thing, and it was like airtight. So they took that off the day that we were discharged from the hospital, and then underneath it I had steri strips. So I had those steri strips on my incision for almost 2 weeks. They didn't fall off until a lot later, and my incision is super low. It's probably about this much farther down from like my panty line, so you definitely can't see it in a bathing suit or anything like that. And like I said, it healed super nicely. Like right now at 3 weeks postpartum, you can see the scar, but like it looks really good. One side is more swollen than the other still, and then I do not have filling probably about from my panty line up. I don't have filling on the top of my incision. It's still really numb, and I don't know if I'll ever get that filling back. It could just be nerve damage from the incision site. One side of my incision did hurt a lot more than the other side, like for probably about 2 weeks after, and that's just because one side gets it a lot rougher than the other side. Like if they're tugging and pulling during surgery, not to get too gory, but one side can hurt. That was one of the questions that I definitely asked the nurse practitioner whenever I had my incision check, and she said it was totally normal. But so for me, it was my left side. My left side hurt a lot worse than my right. But once my steri strips fell off, it was completely closed up, and like I said, it healed up really nicely. As far as bleeding goes, I am still bleeding, but it's like super light. I would say it's more like spotting, really. A lot of people are confused, and they don't think that you actually have like vaginal bleeding after a C-section, but you still bleed. Your uterus is still shrinking back to normal size, so you do still have that bleeding after your C-section. So I'm still bleeding currently, 3 weeks postpartum, and like I said, it's super light. It's not a ton at all. It's just more annoying that I still have to wear a pad 3 weeks postpartum for 3 weeks, because you cannot put anything in your vagina until your 6-week appointment. They were like, absolutely nothing, no tampons, nothing, because everything's still healing. So I am still having super light bleeding, and I never really had heavy bleeding after my C-section. There was just like spurts here and there, but I am still bleeding. One other thing I want to talk about is pooping. Everyone is terrified of like their first poop after any surgery, like if you have your C-section or if you do a vaginal delivery. And let me tell you, I was right there with you. I was terrified of the first poop, but it really wasn't that bad. I don't think I went until I was probably like 5 or 6 days postpartum, and then out of nowhere it just came and things were totally fine. It's really not that scary. And then into week 2, I actually had like the postpartum diarrhea for 4 days straight, and it was like anything you ate, straight diarrhea, which apparently that's normal. It's a real thing. So I did have that probably during like week 2. And then another postpartum symptom that I've had is night sweats. Oh my gosh, guys, the night sweats are literally so bad. I wake up drenched in sweat and I look like I went swimming in a pool. I have a sweat rag next to the bed for when I wake up in the middle of the night to nurse him, and I'm covered in sweat. So they are getting better, but I definitely still have them at 3 weeks postpartum for sure. Okay, and then moving on to breastfeeding. I am going to do like a whole video on breastfeeding. I think we've had a really good experience so far breastfeeding, but I think that I prepared myself really well for the whole breastfeeding process. So as far as like postpartum and breastfeeding, my milk did come in before I left the hospital. So if you've watched my pregnancy updates, then you know that at 33 weeks, I think, my colostrum actually came in and I was leaking colostrum. So I like went into it kind of hoping that like things would go really smooth like that. So actually the Monday night leading into Tuesday, my milk came in the hospital, and then before I left it was in. So Tuesday night when my milk was like fully coming in, like, oh my gosh, it was so uncomfortable. I was literally in tears. My boobs were so engorged and they hurt so bad, and it was literally miserable, but I pushed through it, and we've had a really good experience with breastfeeding. Like I said, are you raising your hands? Mm-hmm. He went back for his weigh-in with lactation at 2 days after we left the hospital. So we left on a Tuesday morning and we went back on that Thursday. And so his birth weight was 9'8", and when we left the hospital he was 8'11", and whenever we went back on that Thursday he was already all the way back up to 9'5". So my milk came in and he was doing what he was doing, and he was literally almost to his birth weight. So that was on that Thursday, and then he had his first doctor's appointment on the following Tuesday, and he was up to 9'11". So he's definitely getting plenty to eat, and the breastfeeding experience has been really good so far. So that has been going well. Let's see, what else can I cover? Overall, I feel really good though. I pretty much feel like completely normal, except for the fact that I'm still bleeding. My abs are starting to get sore just from being able to use them again, because after you have a C-section you really cannot use your abdominal muscles hardly at all, because, well, you know, you've been cut into and had a baby stretch them out for almost 10 months. So my abs are definitely sore. My back has been really sore the past couple of days. I did get an epidural, and I feel like it's kind of exactly where the epidural was. It just feels like bruised almost, and that just started within the past couple of days, but I also have been lugging around like a 10-pound baby. So my back's slightly been hurting, but overall things have been going really well. Emmett has been a really good baby, and I will be doing like a 1 month update on him and give you all the details on everything with Emmett and how he's been doing. Like I said earlier, I will also be filming a birth story so you guys can know exactly what happened and went on, because our birth vlog was kind of choppy. It was like, oh, I was in labor and progressing and dilating, and then oh, it's C-section time. So I will have that video linked below, and then I'll have that coming to you guys soon, so make sure you subscribe. And like I said, follow me on Instagram if you want to stay up to date with Emmett. He's literally the cutest thing ever, and I post a ton of pictures of him. Okay, my camera died, but like I was saying, make sure you follow me on Instagram if you want to see all of this cuteness. He literally has changed so much since he was born. It's insane how fast they grow. But follow me over there, and we will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Say bye.